Americans have become obsessed with the idea of tidying and living an uncluttered life, but when you have young kids, safety is also important. So can tidiness and safety go hand in hand? Here with tips to help parents keep their home uncluttered and safe for their little ones is Director of Research at Safe Kids Worldwide, Morag McKay. Hi there. Thanks for being with us today. Talk to us about how we can kind of combine both of those things together.
Yeah. We actually think it's a beautiful pairing. When you've got all of that tidying done, you can actually start to see where some of the potential risks are. And that's one of the reasons why we're partnering with brands like Tide to start talking to parents about childproofing at the same time that we're talking about tidying. So one of the things that we find it's really easy to do is when you're tidying, you're typically going room to room. So you can do the same thing with the childproofing. And one of the rooms we like to start with is the laundry room. Liquid laundry packets come in a container and really need to stay in the container when they're not in use. And you need to ensure you close that container and find a really safe location up high, out of reach and sight to store it in between uses. At the same time, in the laundry room, you often have cleaning products, but they can also be spread throughout the home. So if you're doing a tidying, you might want to start thinking about bringing those products together and finding, again, a nice, safe location up high, out of reach of kids to keep them from getting into them when you're not using them. Another room that parents sometimes don't think about is the bathroom. Now, we often store medicine in the bathroom, but when we start talking to parents about other places they might keep medicine in the home, they start saying, oh yeah, I've got this on the nightstand, and I've got this stored in my purse, and oh, and there are vitamins on the kitchen counter. And again, when you're doing this tidying, it's a really great way to take stock of all the medicine you have in your home and bring it all together and find one location where it's safe to store it up high, out of reach and sight of young kids. And then when we're talking about storing and organizing and everything else, one thing that any family that has kids has is toys. And you know, you often have toys for little kids, but then you have toys for bigger kids as well. And they often come with these small parts that can be a real danger to young kids. So we always say to parents, read the packaging really carefully when you get the toy to understand the age group that it's intended for. And then when you're sorting out toys, you know, have the basket for the little ones with the safe toys for that age group. But for the older kids where there are small parts like this, ensure that those are being stored separately and in a location that young kids can't get at them. Another thing that we see when we're talking about the living room is more and more some of the electronics are coming with these small types of remotes that, because of their size, use these quarter-sized disc batteries. And these batteries can cause real problems if a very young child swallows them. So again, it's important to find a storage location for remotes like this that is out of their reach, or to not let them play with remotes just in case they manage to get that battery compartment open. And the final one that parents don't always think about in the living room is the safety of the furniture. And we really suggest that things like bookcases, cupboards, and even TV stands are attached to the wall, and that goes for your TV too. There are all sorts of straps and brackets and mounts these days that can help you keep that furniture supported and against the wall so that it's not posing a risk to young kids. And that becomes really important as they get a little bit older and they start to want to climb, because if they see something up high, they may go after it. And the final room that we talk to parents about is the kitchen. And I always jokingly say, you know, you're sitting back and you're admiring that you've Marie Kondo'd your home and it looks beautiful. There's no more junk drawer. Every Tupperware container that doesn't have a lid has been banished from your home. And you're sitting there and enjoying your cup of tea or coffee and just feeling that immense satisfaction. And we would just recommend that you don't have a little one sitting on your lap while you're doing that, because one joggle and that hot liquid can spill on them. So it's much safer to have them in a stationary play seat or in a high chair, and they can see you still and you can interact, but they aren't right there at risk. And that goes the same for when you're cooking. We recommend you use the back burners, and any pots or pans you turn the handles in so that no little grasping hands can reach out for them. Because kids surprise us all the time. One minute they're crawling, the next minute they're pulling themselves to a standing, and then they're toddling off, and you really sort of have to try and keep one step ahead of them as you're childproofing your home.
Well, it's really, really important information and great things to think about for sure. Some of that stuff we may not even be thinking about right now. So, you know, awareness is half the battle. Where can we learn more from you guys?
Yeah, you can go to our website at safekids.org. That's SAFEKIDS.org. And we've got all sorts of information, tips, checklists to help you childproof your home, and thinking all the way from your baby up to your teenager in terms of preventing injury.
Well, really important stuff. Thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.